وكل عام وأنتم بخير.
Hello and Happy New Year, and welcome to the Africa Eco Race. The whole crew, drivers, co-drivers, teams and organisation celebrated the new year at midnight in the bivouac in the middle of the desert. Now this 8th running of the spectacular rally raid, the real race to Dakar, bikes, cars and trucks, then continued at the start of 2016. 3 days of spectacular off-road action so far, but the finish line is in Dakar on the 10th of January. Day 4 begins. Now, on paper, the first stage of the new year is a treat for the competitors. Stage 4 is one of the nicest stages of the rally, 409 kilometers with no liaison section. Half pure wide open sand, the other half rocky, twisty gravel. And so first out of the bivouac in 2016 are the bikes. There is Andrea Fezzani, the Italian rider on his KTM. Put in a very good performance on this long 409 kilometer stage. Finishes in 7th position and moves up the leaderboard. Also upwardly mobile is Jean-Louis Blancpain with a very good time of 6 hours, 9 minutes and 30 seconds on his KTM, moves up to 7th overall. The Russian rider Dmitry Agoshkov, on the other hand, didn't have such a good stage today. With a time of 6 hours, 2 minutes and 25, he's off his usual pace. Making it safely into the control point or the CP and then back out again. Another Russian here, and she's certainly rushing through the stages. An absolutely outstanding performance so far from Anastasia Nefontova. She's the current women's world champion, but she has her sights set on an outright podium here. Superb riding from this very experienced Russian rider. She's been riding since 1999, and that experience shows. Look at the difference in the conditions from smooth to rocky and back to smooth again. And she has to navigate that. Oh, she's gone into the rough. Oh, there's quite a slow crash there, but she seems to be okay, gets straight back on the bike, and for these riders that's not unusual. So, making it safely back to the CP, she'll be relieved about that. Now, she was 4th overall. This is British rider Andrew Newland.
It's fantastic. I'm having a great time. It's a fantastic course. Today was very fast, great fun. I'm taking it easy. I don't want to go too hard, too fast. It's a long race. There's lots to do, so I'm taking it easy, really. It's good. Today I found the navigation quite hard. I made a few mistakes which put me back a bit, but it was good. I enjoy the challenge of the navigation. It's enjoyable.
So he put in a 3rd fastest time on this stage, Andrew Newland. 5 hours, 51 minutes and 15 seconds. That's a long time in the saddle in these conditions. Very impressive today was Norbert Dubois. Here he is powering across the stages, the Frenchman on his KTM. Now this puts him up the leaderboard into 5th overall. That's 4 places he's moved up, but no one can touch this guy. Per Anders Ullevalsæter, the Norwegian, last year's winner, absolute legend.
The first 125 kilometers was super. And then I made a small mistake, and then I made a small crash, and I broken my rear brake. So I have the last 150 kilometers I had no rear brake, but actually I went more fast, I think. So I'm braking too much normally, I found out. So But no, it was fantastic, a fantastic stage, and I had a good feeling all the way, and fantastic.
Incredible that he can go quicker when he's got less brakes. I suppose mechanically it makes sense, but absolutely mental. So he still dominates the stage, but a very good performance for Norbert Dubois, settling in between Andrew Newland and Anastasia Nifontova at the top. Let's see how that shakes things up in the overall classifications. So Anastasia's still in third, Andrew Newland still in second, but way out, an hour and 10 minutes ahead of everyone else, is Ulla Valsiter. Now, setting off behind them, the cars had a very different experience today. What was supposed to be a nice stage proved to be extremely rocky. This is the Hummer of Kazakh driver Yuri Sazonov. He says today was really a puncture day. We lost 3 tyres. We had to drive really slowly because of a problem with the brake disc. We changed the tyres. We couldn't do anything else than finish really slowly. So the former leader lost a lot of time, nearly 2 hours. He's a long way behind everyone now. There were lots of punctures too. This was Mathieu Serradori, stage winner of stage 2 on Wednesday. Had a bad start to the new year, puncture. Loses 40 minutes changing it in the stage and drops down the leaderboard from 2nd to 4th. And here we are on board with Jean-Noël Julien and Pascal Delacour on pace notes. And as you can see, they are lumbering their way through the desert undergrowth because they're carrying a puncture as well. It's been a day of happy new tyres, not happy new year. As you can see, stopped in the stage to change the puncture. A lot of that happening today for the cars and the buggies. So this is Yves Fromont, the French driver in his buggy. And he's the first to break the 5-hour mark, 5th fastest in the stage with a time of 4 hours, 58 minutes and 52 seconds. This is Jeremy Choiseau in his Optimus. Very impressive. And now we have Kanat Shagadov, the Kazakh driver, having to now represent Kazakhstan after the disaster for his teammate. He powered his Toyota through the stage, coming in 3rd overall with a time of 4 hours, 48 minutes and 15 seconds. Now this is Pascal Thomas, who seems to be flying here, and indeed his stage time was great. He's 2nd in the stage with a time of 4 hours, 46:59. But it wasn't all plain sailing even for him as he carves his way through this amazing scenery, throwing up dust behind him. Even he had problems. We punctured twice, he says. We drove slowly for 100 kilometers, so we didn't puncture another tire. The tires are destroyed, but I don't think we're the only ones in this situation. That's the problem with this stage. Many kilometers, many rocks, many slides, much navigation, a very complicated stage. We played cat and mouse with 2 or 3 of our comrades, but I think we were maybe the most reasonable. Well, I don't know if he was playing cat and mouse with Jean-Antoine Sabatier, but the reigning champion is making a comeback after a tricky first couple of days. He is absolutely on fire. The Frenchman in his Bugger 1 buggy putting in a superb time of 4 hours, 44 minutes and 33 seconds. He said, I started 2015 well by winning the Africa race, and I start 2016 well with this stage win. It's a good thing. There's a lot of strong competition, but it's a bit like last year. You have to exit Morocco alive, and in Mauritania, the gaps will be measured in hours. That's rally, but you still have to be in the leading group, because you never know. And so to the massive trucks. And you'd think they'd have no problem with this rough, rocky terrain. But you'd be wrong. Plenty of punctures for the trucks as well. This is Sergei Kuprianov, the Russian driver, in his Kamaz truck. He's 3rd of the trucks, but over half an hour behind the leader. Let's have a look on board. Now, here you have co-driver Alexander Kuprianov and mechanic Anatoly Tanin. And they're having to stop in the stage to change the tyre. Now, these tyres are bigger than me. That's not difficult. I'm not particularly tall, but they're huge. So that's one of the reasons you have a 3rd person in the cabin of the truck, is to help change the tyres. So dropping time in the stage. But look at this. Tomasz Tomaszek, the Czech driver in his Tatra truck, And as you can see there, look, his right rear wheel is dragging. He's got a puncture of his right rear. And it's starting to delaminate. He's taken the decision to continue to drive on it. Maybe he's already used up his spares. And there you can see the actual rubber bouncing off the back of the truck into the dust. He's slowing down. It's getting even worse. He's got no traction from the rear right quarter, completely destroying that wheel and no doubt doing more damage to the underside of the truck. He's plummeted out of the top 3 with this disastrous stage 4. Coming to a complete crawl, still got hundreds of kilometers to make it back to the bivouac. Look at the state of the rear end of that truck. There's a long way to go. And a lot of time dropped. Now this is Miklos Kovac, a former winner of the Africa Eco Race. He won here in 2010. The Hungarian big guy, classic truck driver physique, but powering his way through this stage. He was 4th quickest of the trucks. 3rd quickest was Elisabetta Jacinto, the Portuguese driver. She drove brilliantly, 2nd of the trucks, and 7th quickest overall on the stage with a time of exactly 5 hours. She says, "It was really great today. Everything went well for us. We drove as fast as we could. The route was easier than yesterday, which is good because our suspension is not so good right now. But we've changed the setup and it worked really well, so we're happy about that." She wasn't a huge way behind the bouncing truck of Anton Shibalov. The Russian Kamaz driver wins his 3rd consecutive scratch time. He says this stage was really, really hard. Many stones on the route, and unfortunately we had some problems with the tyres. We were forced to stop to change one. It's the first time for us in this whole rally. It was really complicated. Almost impossible to drive without any problems on this stage. So, the winning car in the stage was Jean-Antoine Sabatier, followed by Pascal Thomas, and for once Anton Shibalov back in 4th. Let's see how that affects the standings. Well, incredibly, Anton Shibalov in a truck is leading the Africa Eco Race. It's a historic moment ahead of all the cars. Well, join us tomorrow for day 5 of the Africa Eco Race as we power through the rest of Morocco to the border of Mauritania. Good night.